Hi, it's Rex. Welcome to My Matters YouTube channel. Dealing with overwhelm, stress, and finding peace and how they go together. Most people find themselves dealing with too much, trying to keep up, getting it all done, and the stress that goes with it, the stress of how do I get through this? How do I deal with all of this? There's too much. Causes, depending on how we look at it, stress and overwhelm. I want you to think of a camera. You can't blame or look to the environment that you want to photograph for a bad photograph or an image. Depending where you point the camera, depending when you take the shot, depending the time of day, depending the choice, depending the technique of using the camera, all influence the shot that is taken. Therefore, many photographers can take photos of similar environments, the same environment, and get very different results. So the real result is through the lens and where it's pointed and when you capture a moment and how you capture a moment and the light and the timing and the technique and the aperture. Big picture, small picture, micro, myopic, and or horizontal, big picture, is all influenced by the photographer. So I want you to think of yourself as the photographer of your world, the filmmaker. And as you do that, I want you to think where you point the camera, when you take the shot, the view you capture is the photograph you take, it's the image you take, it's the experience you have, it's the representation of how you see that world in that moment. So the work that needs to be done is on how to take photographs, how to film, how to capture, how to utilize light, how to utilize perspective. And we are a mechanism. We are the camera. We are that mechanism that we point through our visual cortex, through our senses, through the right feeling, through the sound, through the senses, through the mind, the thought that we add to the moment. The way we're thinking about it influences the photograph. The way we see it, where we see it from, influences the photograph. What our emotions are at the time influence the photograph, etc., etc. And yet most people spend their time trying to get the external world to change, to get a good photograph, to get a good image of the perspective, the view of what they see as their life in a moment. And yet preparing the senses, preparing where you take the shot, what the shot is, your image, your perspective, how you're looking at it in the moment, where the stillness is in the photographer, where the emotion is in the photographer, all cause the shot. Cause, oh my, that's an award-winning photograph. So as you look at that, I want you to imagine becoming the filmmaker, becoming the photographer of your life, and taking control of the mechanism as a focus. So the realm of overwhelm is a way of looking at something. Stress is the result you get through the way you look at something. Or the peace you find is through the way you look at it and or where you point the mechanism, the camera. As you consider that, the breath, if you watch a good photographer, you'll see their breath, their stillness, their presence, the time they take looking for the right angle, the right light, the right time of day. It's a really good time of day to take a photograph of your week before you, in the morning, when you wake up fresh. Everything's beginning, the insects, the birds, life, light, the sun coming up. And yet, there are beautiful photographs that can be taken throughout the day. But you need to understand how to cause a perspective. And that comes from the way you look at life, is the experience you have. On that note, remember to subscribe. Call us on 0476 584 777 and speak to Rhonda, organising any connection with us. Or email us on support@mindmatters.me. The experience of causing peace and dealing with the way stress turns up and or overwhelm is up to the photographer, the filmmaker, you, and who you bring to the moment, how you perceive the moment. That gives you your experience. Have an amazing day.